Based on the limited information we have right now, and it is limited, it seems like Plattner is going to drop out. However, it seems like they are trying to drop out while negotiating some degree of leverage over who gets picked in their stead. Maybe? Plattner is expected to announce his decision through a recorded video, which could come later Wednesday. As of this morning, the message had not been taped, people familiar said. He did not speak during an early afternoon conference call with campaign staff, but aides told people on the line that they would likely hear from him soon. So it seems like he is going to drop out, but he's trying to exercise some control over the outcome here, which... Here. A new text message sent to Graham Plattner volunteers from his campaign manager, seemingly acknowledging that Plattner is soon to drop out, but refusing to step aside until a Democratic nominating process is confirmed. So the reason for this is because my understanding, unless I'm incorrect, is that the DNC itself is the institution that gets to pick who the... Like, there are multiple methods by which they could choose a replacement for Plattner, and Plattner doesn't want to get replaced with, like, a Democratic establishment shill who will lose to Collins. So it's the main DNC gets to pick how he gets replaced. So Plattner is trying to make sure... I'm assuming that Troy Jackson is the one that Plattner wants to succeed him, but he probably doesn't want to directly endorse Troy Jackson because A, that would make Troy Jackson look bad, and also B, Plattner doesn't control the decision-making of the main DNC for his replacement. Assuming it's accurate, I think this is a good idea. I think so too, assuming the reason he's holding off right now is in an effort to make sure that the main Democratic Party doesn't pick like a Mills type. Why does he give a fuck? Because it seems like Plattner is politically progressive. He's just a rapist. Like, from Plattner's perspective, he probably, like, he's like, well, this fucking sucks, you know? Better make sure, you know, like, some degree of due diligence here. In a rare case of him exercising good judgment, I assume. This is Ben Chin, Graham Plattner's campaign manager. We said from the beginning the campaign was never about Graham, but about a movement of working people united to take back power. But yesterday, the main Democratic Party said, oh, yeah, here we go. So the main Democratic Party, keep in mind when I say Maine, I mean the state of Maine. I do not mean Maine as in, like, primary. The state of Maine Democratic Party put out a video the other day where they were essentially antagonizing Graham Plattner's team and saying that he would have no role in picking the next candidate, which is good. Graham Plattner should not have the ability to pick the next candidate, but a lot of people are worried that this is an indication that the main DNC is going to go with like a Mills type. You know what I mean?
Hi, everyone. I wanted to provide you all an update on the U.S. Senate race here in Maine. As you know, the Maine Democratic Party has been working around the clock to develop a process to replace our U.S. Senate nominee that is open, inclusive, transparent, and fair. The integrity of this process is just as important as the outcome, and we are committed to ensuring that Democrats across our state can have confidence in both. Unfortunately, Graham Plattner's team has repeatedly reached out to us in an attempt to put their thumb on the scale.
I think this was really stupid by the main Democratic Party. I understand that they want to avoid the appearance of being influenced by the leverage that Graham Plattner has, because he has an enormous amount of leverage. He could just not drop out. But this is like an insane thing to say. You're antagonizing him for no reason. And this isn't antagonizing him for being a rapist. This is antagonizing him in the context of trying to use some degree of leverage to, I assume, get Troy Jackson in as the next guy. So, like, I don't know why they would post this. It seems to me like kind of counterproductive, but then again, it's possible they want like a Mills type.
Of what this process looks like. We have repeatedly reiterated to Graham Plattner's team that they have no role in determining our next Democratic nominee for the U.S. Senate, nor in determining what this process looks like. We have also reiterated that Graham Plattner must drop out of this race so that Democrats in Maine can focus on defeating Susan Collins this November. We look forward to—
Who should be in? We want Troy Jackson. Troy Jackson's our guy. Why do we want a progressive to win then publicly lose? Troy Jackson might be able to do it, maybe. He's a DSA candidate. He's well liked. He's got local cred. It's not impossible. It's a slim shot. Has Troy Jackson raped anyone? Not to my... He hasn't told me so. Not to my knowledge. Why don't they just say how his replacement should be determined? Because they don't know yet. It's a tense situation. Graham Plattner and and the main DNC both have a lot of leverage here in how this plays out, but it's kind of like a Mexican standoff, right? Graham Plattner has total authority over whether he resigns, but he doesn't want to resign until he knows that the main DNC isn't going to rat fuck Troy Jackson, I assume, and the main DNC, I assume, is corpo cucked because everything is. But at the same time, they have a legitimate reason to want to present the idea that Graham Plattner isn't like using his leverage because that makes the main DNC look weak and complicit. So it's like, it's tough. Why is there no criminal investigation to Plattner? You personally know women who have been raped and have not brought it to the police. You should ask them for their... When you feel mature enough to learn about the lived experiences of less fortunate people, you should ask them why, if they ever feel comfortable sharing that with you. Can't the police open investigation independently of the victim? No, that's not how that works. Statement from 1 hour ago from the Maine Democrats. Well, the Plattner campaign remains focused on distracting from the job of defeating Susan Collins in November with false accusations against us. Oh my God. The Maine Democratic Party remains hyper-focused on developing a representative, transparent and inclusive process, selecting a new nominee when you choose to withdraw from the race. Why are they antagonizing Graham Plattner so much? The more they do this, the more Graham Plattner's team is going to assume that they're not going to have a fair process for picking the fucking... Every state, county level Democratic Party is like this. Fucking wait your turn, ass. You think Plattner should just own up, apologize, and get the fuck out? Yeah, he should drop out. I don't really care whether he apologizes. That's kind of between him, the lady he raped, and God. But he does need to drop out. They are saying an open process. They are saying open process, right? So, weird situation. Valley Gager said Graham Plattner supporting for Senate race. Okay, hold on. That's not Troy Jackson. Why would you do a direct endorsement? Is Plattner directly endorsing her so that Troy Jackson can win an open nomination without Graham Plattner's endorsement? Like, is this like a deliberate setup? Like the goal is to direct Graham Plattner's endorsement away from the candidate they actually want to win? I don't know if that'd be smart. It sounds 4D chess, but it might be like forehead D chess. Is Maine even real? I haven't been there. Will not throw Graham under the bus. Oh no. So wait, she's standing by Graham Plattner? Well, that's not good. Well, then she can't win. What is this? Didn't this lady leave the left because she felt people on the internet didn't take her sexual assault seriously? That is true.
Because it places us in this unbearable position of having to adjudicate something that should have been adjudicated in a court of law if this actually took place.
It's all such level 1 shit, man. It's all so level 1. It's like Me Too never happened. Every time there's a rape accusation, we go right back to the exact same like default level 1 talking points. From Anna too. I mean, I know she's a lying, like she's like a grifter, so obviously like I don't expect her to be honest. But like this is literally the bitch she did. Like the left is so deferential to homeless people, they wouldn't take her seriously with her accusations that she was assaulted by a homeless person, which like I believe because homeless people fucking assault people sometimes. Okay, sure, whatever. Sure. So she's defending him. Cenk Uygur's defending him. Ryan Grimm is doing like some weird posturing over this.
Politico and CNN omitted a key detail from its reporting around the Graham Plattner sexual assault allegations we have learned. Let's take a listen to how Jenny Rasicot, the accuser of Graham Plattner, described how the evening began in her interview with Jake Tapper on CNN.
It was a night where him and I were texting back and forth.
Okay, this goes on for too long. Here's the text. Politico knew at the time of publication precisely what Jenny Rasicot texted to Graham Plattner, but deliberately omitted it from their article. Rasicot, according to the lead Politico reporter on the story, told Plattner she, quote, needed her glute massaged. He told her he was coming right over. She responded by telling him not to do so, but he came over quickly. Whether this detail is important to you or not, it is a shocking breach of journalistic ethics by Politico and CNN to not include it in their coverage. Story at drop site to follow. I really don't think that's a shocking breach of journalistic ethics. It's not really relevant. Did Politico report on what she was wearing at the time? It changes literally nothing. Are we seriously implying that it makes it less bad? It seems like that's what he's implying. He's implying that, like, you know, Politico refused to publish the fact that she was being a little temptress, wink, by maybe insinuating she wants her butt touched before explicitly saying for him not to come over, and then he came over and raped her. A lot of people showing their ass right now. It's crazy how much goes out the window. Man, it's like I'd like to believe the left, by and large, is better about this stuff. I do believe that it is. Like, the team sports stuff, it just goes out the window. All of the principles go out the window, man. I watched half of Breaking Point's 20-minute segment on this, and they're all behaving like this invalidates the whole story. Both Ryan and Sauger. Oh.
And he had taken something that I said as an invitation, and that's not how I meant it. And I quickly clarified up on it or whatnot.
Okay, Sauger, so there was no follow-up from Jake Tapper. If you listen closely there, that she said, we were texting back and forth, and he took something that I said as an invitation to come over. This is,
and then she immediately said, don't come over.
They'd been dating off and on for about 2 years at this point. The follow-up from a normal person at that point is,
what did you say?
What'd you say?
Right.
Like, what was the thing that you said to him that he misunderstood?
He didn't misunderstand it. He ignored it because she said, "Don't come over." This is like just like very straightforward rape apologia. Like very, very straightforward. It's not even. There's no like. It's not even like ambiguous.
Now let's take a look at how Politico reported this. This is D8. This is how Politico first reported. So Razakot told Politico she connected with Plattner on the dating app Bumble in 2019 and had consensual relations with him prior to the night he allegedly assaulted her. That night in late 2021, she said she had exchanged text messages with him and told him not to come over, saying she wasn't in the mood for company.
That's completely on. That's true. I mean, that's what happened. Yeah. I feel the implication here is that every time a woman is raped, but at any point prior to the rape, she said anything even mildly inviting to the rapist, that needs to be published or it's journalistic malpractice. Like, if a woman is raped in an alley and in the news article they fail to disclose the fact that an hour earlier in the club, the girl said to the guy, like, "Oh, you're cute," and then people are like, "Oh, well, she told him he was cute an hour ago, so, like, what about that, huh?" And they're not, like, saying that it doesn't make it rape, but they're kind of implying that. I mean, they're pretty clearly implying it. They're not kind of implying it.
Later that evening, she said she realized when she heard a sound on the stairs that he had let himself into her house, which was unlocked. Plattner,
which is breaking and entering. If it doesn't matter if you have keys. If you tell a person don't come over and then they let themselves into the house to rape you.
Came up the stairs, Razakot said, to where she was on a couch. He got on top of her and kept grabbing her, she said, while she repeatedly told him to stop and that she wasn't interested. So, Sagar, you read that, and most people in Washington who read that, they're like, that sounds like he broke in to the house, like uninvited, and then began a violent assault of her.
Yeah, it does sound that way. That's true. It does sound that way, if you think about it.
Nowhere does Politico mention what she mentioned to CNN there, that
they
she
don't even mention what she was wearing.
Said something in the text message exchanges that he mistook as...
I've always thought Ryan Grimm was a huge skis. Dropsite News does publish good stuff, but like Ryan Grimm has always given me a really like mercenary vibe where he has like a very particular campus line to adhere to, and he will like tank his own credibility to hold himself to it. And this is by far the worst thing I've ever seen him. This is like really, really bad. Like it's like, I don't know. I don't want to turn this into some like protracted like, well, the left doesn't take women seriously. You know, they don't, right? Like, it's true. You know, I feel like, and if I said that, people would be like, well, you don't take women seriously enough, and I'd be like, what do you mean by that? And they'd be like, you're literally Vosh, and I'd say, what does that mean? They'd be like, well, I hate you, and it's blah blah blah. But like, this is, it's really bad.
An invitation. They just say, and elsewhere in the article they say he was, quote, uninvited. It turns out, and we have learned, that Politico...
He wasn't invited. He was not invited.
Definitively, at the time of publication, knew precisely what Jenny had texted to Graham that he, according to her, mistook as an invitation to come over. And we know this because the Washington Post also interviewed Jenny Razakot. And Jenny told the Washington Post, because she's being honest.
Why is leftist media doing this? Well, Ryan Grimm is a campist and Sauger is literally a fascist, and they're doing this on Breaking Points, which is like borderline Strasserite, at least when Crystal Ball's not here to weigh the scales back. By the way, Crystal Ball condemned Plattner, to be clear.
She's laying out all of the details, which is how it should be. You lay out all the details, and then you let the readers, the public, the voters say, okay, here, we have all the different facts. Here's how we interpret this scenario. So good for her for being transparent.
I totally agree with you, and I want to say that up at the top. This is in no way an attack on her. This is about how I believe that the media has handled this story.
Like what they're frustrated by is the fact that Politico and mainstream news broadly is biased and Zionist and has a thing out for Plattner. All that is true. It's just that in addition to those facts, Plattner is a rapist, you know? Like, unfortunately, you just have to live in a world where, like, if Netanyahu pointed up in the sky and said that it was blue, I'm not going to die on a hill arguing with it, you know? I'm sorry, like, this is not the battle to pick. But they hate the fact that it seems like this is actually a pretty airtight, like, credible accusation. So they're, like, dancing around the suggestion that it wasn't... Like, what exactly is the story here? In what way is leaving out that detail important at all? There was no ambiguity as to whether or not she wanted him to come over. She said no. And even if she said come over, he still ignored her multiple times when he raped her. Like, even if he was invited, he then raped her. But he wasn't invited. So we're like multiple walls away from any kind of exoneration of his behavior. So, like, there's no point to this. Politico lies all the time. Yes, Politico is run by crazy Zionist Epsteinites, but that has nothing to do with this. This is not journalistic malpractice.
She was
truthful from the beginning
about this. She doesn't she doesn't have the text messages anymore.
They're not exonerating him. They are. You have to, like, read between the lines. They're acting like this is a big breach of journalistic ethics, which implies that they've withheld a relevant detail of the story. They haven't. Whether or not she said, I need my glute massaged beforehand, and then clearly said, don't come over, it's literally not relevant at all to any of the substance of the story. It has absolutely no bearing on the weight of what Plattner did. It is not a relevant detail to the story. So therefore, it is absolutely not a breach of journalistic ethics. They're saying it is because they're trying to, you know, keep up the fight against the Zionist media, which, hey, I support, but let's not do it, like, at the expense of implicitly defending a rapist.
Plattner apparently doesn't have the text messages anymore, so we're going by her memory of what they are. And to her credit, she divulged the details of the text messages from...
What do you mean, again, like, to her credit also implies that this information somehow exonerates Graham Plattner? Like, the phrasing here, and again, like, I'm a 400 IQ social genius, so, like, maybe you're not on my level, but, like, to her credit implies that she gave up a position here. Like, she has a side, and by saying to her credit, like, you're implying that by acknowledging that she said, you know, I want my glute massaged, that she's, you know, giving a point to Plattner's case, which is not what she's doing.
That evening, and she divulged it to the Washington Post. The Washington Post reaches out to the Plattner campaign for comment, good for the Washington Post, and in their request for...
No, he was implying her memory was faulty. No one would ever say to her credit in response to a rape victim recounting a detail from her rape. Like, the rape victim had a spotty memory of the event, but to her credit, she recalled this event. That's not, like, semantically, that doesn't apply. He's saying to her credit because it's her giving a point to Graham Plattner.
Comment, they mention that Jenny had been texting him talking about a massage earlier. And
like,
so
how are you meant to read this?
Campaign sees this, and they go back to Politico, and they say, apparently there's some more context here about, like, the back and forth. Like, do you know about these text messages? The reporter then exchanges messages with the Plattner campaign. Those messages have been now circulating in Maine politics, in Maine political circles. I obtained
yeah, they're begging the question. It's super bad faith. They're begging the question. They know they can't outright say she's lying because that would, like, forever position them. against like a large and over time growing group of people, but they are going to do this like wink wink scientist media lied to you by hiding the truth.
A copy of those. I was able to authenticate them with sources with knowledge of them. And here is what the Politico reporter said to the campaign. Jenny Rascott had been, quote, texting Plattner about needing her glute massaged. That detail didn't make our story.
Right.
Okay.
Glute massage. So within about a half an hour of getting this glute massage text, Plattner is in the house.
After having received a text saying don't come over.
Now, she says
she
And then he raped her.
followed up
no, don't come.
and don't come.
Yeah.
Now,
Because he texted back, so he's wasted, clearly. He gets this message. I need my glute massaged.
Right.
He comes over.
Well, hold on. Well, you're missing. Oh, you keep skipping over. You keep skipping over. You go from A to C. That's really weird. It's like even Sagar and Jetty's like, well, there's a step in there.
He's text back, I'm coming over.
Okay.
And she's like, wait, don't come over.
Yeah.
That she says, don't come over, don't come over. This is Maine. He's
What are we doing here?
not taking the subway. Like, so he's
driving.
She's drunkenly
Yeah.
driving over there.
Yes.
Comes into the house, and then it gives.
A rape. The Mainer's hello.
And then she says he's grabbing her on the couch. Well, where's
she's saying no.
Right. Where's he grabbing her?
Dude, how is Sagar and Jetty is like, where are you going with this, dog? Yeah, she repeatedly said no, like at every point in the and Ryan's like, okay, yeah, but like it's Maine and he's driving. Okay, yeah. Then she said no. Yeah. But anyway, like he's driving over and then he starts touching her. Yeah, and she's saying no. Yeah. I know. What the fuck's what's happening here, man? Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Like, is he like immediately starting like the glute massage or whatever?
No, he raped her. That's a different thing.
Right. Anyway, the Washington Post, to its credit, included a version of the detail. We could put up Washington Post at D7. One night in November or December 2021, she said she texted him to say that she could use a massage. She said she did not intend it as an invitation, but he interpreted it that way, immediately replying to say he would come right over. She said she wrote back twice, telling him not to.
Seems pretty straightforward to me. I understand social signals are sometimes a little bit difficult to parse, but usually that's when they're ambiguous, and this one seems pretty unambiguous.
The Post was not able to review the alleged messages or independently verify them. Rascott said she later deleted them soon after the incident. So
right, because she like blocked him on Instagram or whatever.
Post didn't include the glue part, but did mention the massage to their credit. But because the Politico published first, I didn't even know the Washington Post reported on this.
Exactly, and I think that's why this is important. So there's the most important part, and let's just zoom out, because this does potentially explain why a drunken Plattner enters the home.
Right.
It stops there.
To rape her, yeah.
Because that's where the rest of the evening and her account of the evening, it no longer accounts for. But it does explain a detail. And I think what was key to the understanding generally that all of us had was that it did genuinely appear as if Plattner had been told explicitly not to come over there, understood that to be the case, broke into the home, effectively entering a home unannounced, and which just whether it's unlocked or not.
Which is what he did. She only found out he was there when she heard him entering the house after being told not to come over. That's what happened.
Is a full-blown crime. I mean, and I do think that that's part of why we need to assess this very seriously. The very definition of what Jenny has alleged here is a full-blown gross sexual assault.
Yes, but rape. Like sexual assault includes like slapping a person's ass. This is like, I understand kind of like the definition varies. You're in England or you're in America, whatever. It's rape. It's like pretty straightforward. Sexual assault encompasses a very wide range of behaviors. So it's can obfuscate the severity.
Class A felony in the state of Maine with a statute of limitations for 20 years. That's what she is alleging, which carries a significant prison sentence for like decades potentially in
rape's pretty bad.
prison. And that is my understanding.
This is why there are so few women in like online politics, man. It's like a fucking cognito hazard out here. I get to engage with this as like a distant intellectual argument, but like what, fucking a quarter of all women have been raped or sexually assaulted in their life, so they just get to watch this and be like, well, I guess we just have to do this forever. It's going to be like the year 3826 and we're still going to be doing this shit forever, you know? Yeah, the eternal bear pick, man.
Of how I need to evaluate what is being alleged here. I want to make that clear. Now, if I were then to submit to due process or something like that in a trial, and I saw something like that, it would significantly change, again, my understanding of how the event were to begin.
And if the Politico had published what she was wearing, it would have significantly changed my perception of what she was wearing at the time. What does it have to do with the rape? I don't get Sagar's angle here. Did he like Plattner? It's just part of like independent media posturing against mainstream media. Mainstream media is corrupt and Zionist. The only way to beat it is to subscribe to my Substack, watch my YouTube channel. But unfortunately, in this case, mainstream media actually got a pretty strong slam dunk on somebody. So we're just going to like emptily posture against it and claim that there's some kind of like impropriety taking place here. And in the process, we're going to do like a fuckload of rape apologia. Man, this is like really bad, huh? Seems like a lot of people are blowing up Ryan Grimm on Twitter, which is good because he's just, you know, he's like just asking questions, rape apologia. I wonder how the Breaking Points audience responded to this. Probably the Breaking Points audience is like literally 95% male chuds, so I'm going to assume they're like yippee. I'm gonna assume they're not like torn up over it. Yeah, look at this.
Politico
Here, hold on. Exclusive Plattner assault story left key details out. See, look. Jake Tapper not meeting ethical journalistic standards. I tell you, shocked. But in this video segment, he's talking about Politico engaging in journalistic impropriety, not Jake Tapper. These people are literally not listening. So it's team sports. It's about independent media versus mainstream media. The claim here isn't even about Jake Tapper. He's talking about Politico. I wish they covered Cuomo like this. Our media is so... what? By defending the rapist? They did cover Cuomo like that. Our media is so unfathomably corrupt. Da-da-da-da-da. Like, it's just about... It's pretty gross. Well, no, gross is like a millennial thing to say. It's like rapist shit, you know? Such fucking grifters, dog. I figured this segment was going to be about, like, the weird interplay with the main DNC and Graham Plattner's campaign, but I feel like the rape apologia is the more interesting story here. I don't know. What the fuck is this rape apologia? It is. I'm not like, it's like drama shit. Yeah, Ryan Grimm's done this before. Yeah. Might need to censor that title a little. No. Despite what TikTok might have you believe, you do not get nuked from orbit for saying rape. You might get nuked from orbit for doing rape. Unless you're like, I don't know, running for Senate in Maine, I guess. In which case, people will still defend you.